Divine Call. 3 miraculous messages revealed to the chosen one for heavenly transformation. In the heart of a quaint English village, Mary Johnson was kneeling before the beloved statue of St. Jude one fateful evening. The air was thick with a palpable energy, the kind that sets the soul alight. She pressed her hands together, heart racing, calling for divine guidance. Suddenly, a light unlike any she had ever known bathed the room in an ethereal glow. It felt as though the very heavens opened up, and a whisper echoed in her heart. 3 messages for healing and hope. Mary's breath caught in her throat. It was as if the sacred words were wrapped in a warm embrace. Each message unfurled before her like a rose blooming in the spring. The first spoke of restoring the health of their village, where illness had taken too many. The second promised reconciliation and unity among weary hearts, fractured from pain and doubt. The third encapsulated a divine love that could transcend all despair, igniting a spark within each villager. She could hardly contain the warmth that flooded her spirit, radiating joy and purpose. But as Mary took her revelation to her friends, she encountered skepticism. "Oh, Mary," they said, shaking their heads, "this sounds like a fanciful dream." Disheartened yet fueled by her visions, Mary pressed on. With each attempt, she felt a split growing in her community, but the pull of her divine calling was stronger than any doubt. Days passed and the veil of contention loomed heavy, until one crisp autumn morning the impossible happened. Mrs. Thompson, her terminally ill neighbor, who had been bound to her bed, stood before Mary, glowing with vibrant health. "Mary," she exclaimed, her voice like a choir of angels, "I'm whole again." News of the miracle spread like wildfire, igniting awe and wonder in the hearts of many. Yet, among the faithful, shadows of disbelief still lingered. "Can it really be true?" they murmured, eyes wide with uncertainty. With renewed zeal, Mary prepared for a church gathering, hopeful that the ripple of healing would bring unity. As she stood before the congregation, an elderly priest rose and spoke. "Mary is a beacon of hope," he declared, his voice like thunder, rattling hearts. In that moment of affirmation, Mary sensed the divine lifting her up, though not without the weight of discontent simmering amongst some members. But as life would have it, a family crisis struck. Her young son fell gravely ill. Doubt crept in like a thief in the night. "How can I lead if I can't even heal my own?" she whispered in despair. Should she retreat from this divine mission that felt too grand, the burden too heavy? The answer hovered just beyond reach. Then in her darkest hour, an unexpected encounter reignited her courage. As she knelt to pray, a flicker of light enveloped her, and she felt the gentle whisper of St. Jude cradling her spirit. "Stand firm, Mary." The message rolled over her like a wave, an electrifying rush igniting her heart anew. Clarity churned within her as she realized that this was her moment to confront the whirlwind of doubt and fear. Yet what awaited Mary? What miracles still lingered in the sacred air of her village? As the moon draped its silver light over the parish, a sense of suspense gripped her heart, leaving questions hanging in the night, whispering promises of hope and transformation for the path still unwritten. As dawn broke over the village, a golden light spilled through the window, showering Mary in its warmth. She felt the pull of the messages she had received. Today was not just any day. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one where she would step boldly into her destiny. With each heartbeat, she reminded herself of the healing, unity, and love promised by God. Mary gathered her son in her arms, his fever still clinging to him like a shadow. Her heart ached as she felt his tiny body thrumming with discomfort. She murmured prayers of strength, gripping him close. "You are not alone, my dear child," she whispered, fighting to keep faith alive within her. With a gentle resolve, she decided to share her son's struggle with the village. She would not hide her pain. Instead, they would all face this trial together. As she walked towards the church, the heavy fog of doubt was brushed away by an unseen hand guiding her every step. Inside the church, the familiar rows of wooden pews were filled with villagers. A stillness settled over the room as Mary approached the pulpit, her heart pounding. "Brothers and sisters," she called out, her voice trembling, I stand before you not just as a messenger of hope, but as a mother in need of prayer." The faces that looked back at her were a mix of concern and intrigue. A wave of murmuring passed through the congregation. Some were nodding, acknowledging their own doubts and struggles. Others, still burdened with skepticism, exchanged glances but dared not speak against her growing resolve. Mary's plea echoed through the hall, and she felt a sense of unity begin to grow among them, weaving their spirits together. "Just as St. Jude has guided me, I urge you to come together for our families," she continued, eyes glistening with tears of vulnerability. "Let us join hands and pray for healing, not only for my son but for our entire village. We are stronger together." As if shocked awake from a deep slumber, whispers turned into affirming murmurs. One by one, people began to rise, sharing their own burdens: illness, family strife, fear of the unknown. A powerful energy filled the room, drawing them closer. There, in that sacred space, hearts intertwined, igniting a flame of hope. Then Mary closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the moment settle upon her shoulders. She whispered her own prayer with fervor. "Dear St. Jude, intercede for us. Grant us the healing to undertake this journey together." A rush of warmth radiated through her, confirming once more that she was not alone. After the prayers had lifted to the heavens, a stillness enveloped the room. Mary looked around, her heart swelling as she saw faces of belief, softened by shared grief and emerging hope. In their eyes, Mary felt a flicker of renewed faith. They were beginning to trust. But as the service drew to a close, someone from the back shouted, cutting through the warmth like a winter chill. "What if this is all just a fantasy? What if nothing changes?" The voice cracked, and silence followed. Mary's heart sank, an old fear creeping back. Yet just as she felt the chill of doubt rear its head, the candles flickered, illuminating the corners of the room with a divine glow. A hush fell over them, as if the very heavens paused to listen. Feeling a surge of divine inspiration, Mary stepped forward. "What if I told you," she began, her voice steady, "that the power of faith can transform our reality? What if this is the very time we see God's mighty hand at work right here?" The congregation gasped collectively, drawn into the mystery of what might unfold. "Will you join me on this journey?" she implored. "We can be the instruments of this divine call." And as they departed, a single thought lingered in Mary's heart. What awaited them in the days to come? Would their faith withstand the trials that still lay ahead? With anticipation hanging thick in the air, the seeds of transformation had been planted. But deep within Mary's soul, questions remained. What true miracles could yet unfold in their lives? As the sun began its slow descent, casting a golden hue over the village, Mary returned home, her heart aflame with hope and uncertainty. The warmth of the prayers still enveloped her, a protective cloak that eased the weight of responsibility resting on her shoulders. She wanted to believe that a transformation was possible, but shadows of doubt lingered just at the edges of her newfound light. Sitting beside her ailing son, she brushed a strand of hair from his brow. He stirred slightly, and for a brief moment, she felt a flicker of hope ignite at the sight of his fragile smile. "My love," she mused softly, "the whole village is praying for you. St. Jude is with us." The night deepened, and as she rocked him gently, memories of her childhood flooded back. Tales of faith and miracles told by her grandmother wove a fabric of belief that had been passed down through generations. With each story, her faith was nurtured and nourished, and now it felt like the time to weave that same tapestry for her son and her community. She closed her eyes, focusing on the thread of connection that bound her to the villagers. In that moment, Mary felt an inexplicable peace washing over her. It was a sacred truth. Love could heal, and together they could manifest hope amidst despair. But how? What was the next step? She had thrown open the doors, but she needed guidance on how to walk through them. As if responding to her silent plea, a gentle breeze danced through the open window. It swirled around her, lifting the weight of despair. For a moment, she could almost hear whispers carried on the wind, murmurs of assurance reassuring her spirit. "Trust. believe. Mary's heart raced at the thought of divine intervention. She felt compelled to take the message back to the villagers. They had begun a journey together, but the road ahead would require not just faith, but also action. She envisioned gatherings where they could share stories, testimonies of miracles witnessed and seeds of hope sown in their hearts through unity. With renewed determination, Mary decided she would organize a prayer vigil that very night. It would be a space for sharing, a place for divine encounters. She envisioned them gathering under the starlit sky, hands joined, voices lifted in unison. Each prayer would be like a spark, igniting a revival of faith among them, yet her mind raced with anxiety as she thought of the skeptics. What if doubt overshadowed their belief? After all, the voice from the back of the church echoed in her mind, a challenging gust against her growing resolve. But Mary felt the firm grip of something greater, the kind of hope that doesn't just brush the surface but sinks deep into the soul. Driven by this newfound calling, she quickly penned an invitation to each family. Her hands trembled as she wrote, the ink flowing like the prayers she longed to lift. Join us tonight at the church. Let's gather to seek healing together. As darkness cloaked the village, the air filled with anticipation. Villagers began to trickle in, one after another, drawn by the whispers of hope. With each face she recognized, her heart soared deeper into belief. Now, standing before the gathered crowd, Mary's spirit soared higher as she felt the presence of something divine settle upon them. Each of you, she spoke, her voice shaking but steady, holds a piece to this puzzle. Together we can create a masterpiece of faith and healing. They joined hands under the starlit sky, their breaths mingling in the sacred silence. Mary's heart pulsed with energy, electric with expectation. The air felt charged, alive with promise, as she lifted her voice in prayer, calling upon the heavens. As the final amen erupted into the night, a stillness fell. In that moment she felt a glimmer of something marvelous on the horizon. Was this mere human hope, or was it something far more divine? And as the stars twinkled above, Mary wondered, what miracles awaited them in the morning light? Would their faith break through the walls of doubt and usher in a new dawn? The answers felt close, whispering just beyond her reach. As the first light of dawn broke, a soft glow filtered through Mary's window, gently nudging her from slumber. She blinked awake, her heart racing with the memories of the night before, the prayers, the unity, the palpable sense of hope that coursed through the gathered hands. The air felt different, charged with possibilities, as if heaven itself had breathed over them. In her heart, expectant anticipation began to blossom. What changes would this day bring? With the scent of lavender from the garden wafting in, she quietly left her son's side, tiptoeing out of the room. Each step felt heavier with purpose as she approached the church to witness the new day's miracle. As she arrived, sunlight pooled at the threshold of the old wooden door, casting a warm embrace across the floorboards. She entered to find the sanctuary still holding on to echoes of last night's voices. The quiet felt sacred. Mary knelt at the altar, her heart laid bare before God. "What is your will for us today?" she whispered, her eyes closed tight, seeking clarity. Moments passed, and just as doubt began to creep in, she felt a significant stirring in her spirit. It was a soft but compelling pull, inviting her to listen closely. Suddenly, 3 clear thoughts blossomed in her mind, as if spoken by a gentle, loving voice. The first revealed itself in vivid clarity. Hope is in the shared stories. Share the miracles of others, for they carry the weight of faith. Mary smiled, envisioning the testimonies she had already heard over the years. The woman who had found her missing child, the farmer whose crops had been saved by an unexpected rain. These stories were living proof of divine intervention. "I must gather them," she thought, feeling a growing excitement. Then the second thought came through like a warm embrace. Compassion is the bridge of love. Show your heart to those in need. She remembered the faces of those in the village who were hurting, struggling under burdens unseen. Yes, they all needed to know that they were not alone. "I will organize community acts of kindness," she resolved, her spirit alight with determination. Lastly, a powerful whisper resonated through her very being, ready to ignite the embers of her faith. Courage is the key to transformation. Stand firm against the tide of doubt. A wave of strength surged through her, erasing the shadows of uncertainty. Mary felt empowered to face the skeptics with grace, convinced that she was not alone in this journey. As she left the church, a to-do list forming in her mind, the sun had now risen high, illuminating the village with brilliance. Joy bubbled within her, and she prayed that her actions might reflect the messages she had received. Walking through its streets, people began to emerge, bright-eyed and whispering. They greeted her with warmth and curiosity, sensing a shift in the atmosphere. Mary felt their eyes upon her, searching, waiting. She had to share the revelations. "Friends," she called out, raising her hands to silence the murmurs, "I have heard a call from God. Miracles await us if we dare to act." Her heart quickened as she began to share the messages that had stirred within her. Every word wrapped around their hearts, weaving them together in newfound connection. They listened, rapt and eager. Could it be true? Would each act of kindness and shared faith be a stepping stone toward healing? Yet still, a spark of uncertainty flickered within her. Would they embrace this fresh vision she was igniting? As she looked out over the faces of her neighbors, a weighty silence enveloped them, a silence ripe with potential. Would they step out in faith, united in the journey ahead? The day stretched out before them, full of promise, but the path was uncharted. Eyes wide with anticipation, Mary paused, contemplating the unfolding adventure before them. Would a single leap of faith transform their lives? The morning was alive with possibilities, and they were standing at the precipice of their own divine adventure. The townsfolk stood there, their gazes fixed on Mary like the first rays of sun breaking through a cloudy sky. Each face told a story, a blend of hope and hesitance dancing in their worried eyes. Could they really trust the words circulating in the air like fragrant blossoms on the wind? Mary's pulse quickened as a sense of urgency burned within her. Today we become conduits of God's love. We share our stories, we extend our hands. Her voice rang out like a clarion call, echoing against the stone walls of the church across the peaceful village. A gentle murmur raced through the crowd. Some exchanged glances while others nodded slowly, contemplating the weight of her words. Finally, old Mrs. Thompson, her face a map of lines and tales, stepped forward. "I have my story," she said, her voice wavering. "When my son fell ill, the village prayed for him, and it was through those prayers that he was healed." The warmth of her confession wrapped around them like a shawl against the morning chill. "Praise God," came shouts from the crowd, the sound rising like incense toward heaven. Encouraged, Mary invited others to share. One by one, they opened up. Stories of unexpected provision, miraculous encounters, redemption found in broken places. Each tale infused the air with tangible hope, inspiring confidence among the gathering. The space nearly sparkled with divine connection. Mary's heart soared, for she was witnessing the first fruits of shared faith. The stories twined together, creating a tapestry of light. It was evident, through their collective testimonies, they were not merely weaving words but inviting the Spirit into their midst. Next, Mary turned to her second revelation: compassion is the bridge of love. "Let us not simply be hearers of the gospel but doers," she urged. "There are many in our community who need us. Let us find them, serve them." Then came the clamor of agreement. "Yes, let's help the families struggling to make ends meet," called out a younger man from the crowd, hope shimmering in his enthusiasm. "And what about the widow at the end of the lane? She must feel so alone," another added. With the fiery spirit kindling amongst them, Mary felt a momentous wave of unity swell in her heart. Each idea sparked anew a determination to truly emulate the teachings of love they all held dear. Plans began to take shape as they spoke of organizing food drives, visiting the lonely, and supporting each other as one family. As the morning melted into midday, Mary sensed that courage was the anchor they needed to hold on to. "With courage, we can face any skepticism," she declared. "Even if one or two may doubt, our faith can move mountains." The crowd echoed her sentiment, a rising symphony of encouragement surrounding her. Mary saw their confidence bloom, and her spirit soared even higher. Yet, even amid this moment of renewed zeal, uncertainty brewed, a lingering question. Would their collective courage be enough when the world still held shadows of doubt? As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over everything, Mary felt a burden as well. What unforeseen challenges lay ahead on this united journey? The road ahead could twist and turn, but did it truly matter? With eyes shimmering with determination, she stood tall. Our stories will carry us, our compassion will lift us, and our courage will be the wind beneath our wings. Around her, hearts began to beat as one, ignited by purpose. Together they were shifting from mere members of a village to vibrant vessels of divine love. But what unforeseen trials awaited them as they took their first steps? Mary's heart raced again at the thought of it. If they were to begin this journey, they had to be truly ready, body, mind, and spirit, for everything lay before them. And the adventure had only just begun. The following morning, with the sun just beginning to peek over the hills, Mary gathered the townsfolk once more in the churchyard. Hope filled the air, thick like morning mist, swirling around them as if the very essence of their stories had materialized. Birds chirped cheerfully, harmonizing with the occasional rustle of leaves, adding a soundtrack to their sacred assembly. "We begin today," Mary declared, heart fluttering with expectancy. "Let our hands be tools of God's love. We shall embark on this journey together." The crowd buzzed, their shared enthusiasm tangible. Men, women, and children formed small groups, discussing plans to support those who needed help. Laughter erupted here and there, an infectious joy weaving through the gathering. Mary smiled, emboldened by their energy. But in the back of her heart, a flicker of doubt arose. Could they sustain this momentum in the face of adversity? Just as that thought flickered through her mind, a soft, familiar voice broke through the chatter. It was old Mrs. Thompson again, her eyes twinkling with wisdom. "Faith is not blind, my friends," she exclaimed. "It is the lantern that guides us through uncertainty." The crowd hushed, the depth of her words echoing like a gentle whisper of wind. With this, Mary knew they needed to address the vulnerability that lay ahead. "Let me share something with you," she started, her voice steady. "For every step into the light, we may face shadows." She shared tales of her own fears, moments when her faith felt small against the vastness of the world. The crowd listened intently, their faces reflecting the shared weight of her honesty. Mary paused, allowing the silence to settle, for in that stillness lay room for reflection. Then, as if responding to their collective contemplation, a gust of wind swept through the yard, rustling petals from nearby blossoms, scattering them like confetti. It was a subtle reminder, she thought, that even in trials, beauty and hope could take root. "Let us turn these uncertainties into prayer," Mary urged. "Each challenge will be met with love and perseverance." A hush fell over them, and one by one they began to speak up. First, it was a young woman sharing her fear of disconnecting from the community, then a man who had once lost everything to doubt. As they placed their struggles before the gathering, a sense of solidarity solidified amongst them. They were not alone, and their confessions were welcomed like offerings at an altar. Mary's heart swelled. "Let's form a prayer circle," she suggested. And as hands joined, warmth flowed through their clasping fingers, igniting a collective spirit. Words of hope washed over them like a soothing balm, words soaked in their shared trust and aspirations. Yet amidst the fervor, Mary felt a nudge of divine anticipation, a whisper guiding her. "Let's take a leap of faith," she said, her voice barely above a whisper but filled with authority. "I feel we are called to reach out beyond our comfort. There are souls outside these walls longing for compassion." Nods and murmurs of agreement spread through the circle. Ideas sprang forth: a community meal for the hungry, a visit to the local shelter, offering their hands to those in despair. Each suggestion ignited a brighter flame in their hearts, pushing doubt to the edges of the gathering. As they began to formulate these plans, Mary could almost see an invisible thread binding them together, weaving a tapestry infused with divine purpose. But "Where do we begin?" a voice from the back asked, bringing an important question to light. And in that moment, as the sun climbed higher, illuminating their faces, a charged silence enveloped them. What path would they choose when it was time to act? With the weight of holy anticipation settling upon her soul, Mary could feel something profound stirring in the air. Could they truly connect with the lives awaiting them on the other side of the town? Would they find joy and strength in the lives they touched? Just then, the wind picked up, bringing with it whispers of encouragement, sowing yet another question in Mary's heart. What divine surprises awaited them along this journey of love? As the sun bathed the churchyard in warmth, Mary stood at the center of the gathering, sensing that the atmosphere was charged with sacred anticipation. The murmurs of the crowd faded as she took a deep breath, allowing peace to fold over her like a soft cloak. There was a divine pulse in the air, and she knew they were on the brink of something remarkable.
"Let's seek guidance," she encouraged. "Together we can listen for the whisper of God." With that, she invited them to close their eyes and open their hearts. The world around them faded, just for a moment, as each person began to reflect inwardly, recognizing their fears, hopes, and dreams.
The stillness was profound. It hung thickly, laden with divine presence. Then, one by one, the townsfolk began to share fragments of their prayers. Soft voices reached out like tender vines, intertwining in a tapestry of faith. A mother spoke of her yearning to mend broken relationships. A son prayed for his father's healing. A baker whispered a wish to nourish not just bellies but souls. "Thank you," Mary said softly, feeling the swell of love in her chest. Each of these prayers matters. Every voice is a part of our calling. The first rays of sunlight illuminated their faces, glimmering with tears and smiles alike. Mary felt a surge of determination rise up. Let us journey together, not just amongst ourselves, but into our community. We will share our visions of hope. Let us be the light they need. Just then, a young girl, Lily, stood up bravely. "Miss Mary," she said, her voice quivering, "how do we take that first step?" There was an innocence in her question that resonated deeply with everyone present. Mary knelt to meet Lily's gaze, her heart bursting with admiration for the girl's courage. Every grand journey begins with a single step. She glanced at the others, seeing hope reflected in their eyes as they leaned closer to hear. "Let's visit the elderly folks at the nursing home first. They feel isolated and forgotten." "Great idea," someone called from the back, igniting a ripple of excitement through the crowd. The prospect of bringing joy to others spread among them like wildflowers blooming in spring. A gentle breeze rustled through the trees, and the comforting scent of pine filled the air, wrapping around them as if nature herself rejoiced in their newfound purpose. They began making arrangements. Who would bake pies, who would bring flowers, and who would share stories. The energy was palpable. Every task felt like a brushstroke on a canvas of divine love. As they dissipated from the churchyard with hearts jubilant, Mary lingered for just a moment. She felt a tug in her spirit, a pull towards a path yet untraveled. What more does God desire from us? She wondered silently. Her eyes scanned the horizon, where the sun blazed on the edges of the town. Then it hit her like a revelation. The message was clear. "We can't just stop with one visit," she whispered to herself. "The call is for something greater." As Mary turned to follow her friends, the wind picked up gently, moving as if to usher her forward. The whispers of the trees spoke anew. She felt both an urgency and a peace surrounding her. The world outside was waiting, ready for the embrace of love and community. With every step they took together, possibilities unfurled. New ways to serve were emerging with each new connection. But still, the lingering question echoed in her soul. What else awaited their embrace? As they made their way down the path, one thing was crystal clear. This journey was just the beginning, and the true nature of their mission lay just ahead, waiting to be discovered. The following morning dawned bright and cheerful, the sun stretching its golden arms across the town. Mary awoke with excitement buzzing in her heart. Today was the day they would visit the nursing home, and she could already envision the smiles blooming on the faces of the elderly residents. As the congregation gathered at the church once more, the air buzzed with chatter and laughter. Friends shared stories, families connected, and everyone felt like part of something much larger than themselves. Mary stood at the front, the warmth of their collective spirit fueling her enthusiasm. "Are we ready?" she asked, her voice bright. The crowd erupted with enthusiastic affirmations, and Mary's heart swelled. She could almost hear the angels rejoicing, echoing their approval. As they made their way to the nursing home, the group sang hymns that intertwined with the gentle rustle of leaves. Each note felt like a thread weaving them closer together. Mary noticed the men and women of the town walking next to each other, joining hands, connecting. When they reached the nursing home, the scent of freshly baked cookies wafted through the air, mingling with the soft aroma of flowers. Resident staff greeted the group at the entrance, their eyes dancing with the joy of unexpected visitors. Upon entering, the residents looked up, some confused but most curious. A woman in a floral dress peered from under her gray hair, her eyes widening in surprise. Just then, Lily stepped forward, her small voice breaking the silence. "We brought you these," she exclaimed, holding up a bouquet of hand-picked daisies. A ripple of warmth crossed the room. Mary felt her spirit lift as one elderly gentleman broke into a wide smile. "Flowers, well, don't you just brighten this dull old place," he boomed, laughter echoing off the walls. The ice was broken, and soon the room filled with chatter and laughter. Mary watched as friends shared stories of their families, reminiscing about days gone by. The promise of companionship floated in the air, gentle and sweet, like the song of a nightingale. Mary moved between the clusters of joy, stopping to share a cup of tea with Mrs. Abernathy, a resident who once painted vivid murals that celebrated the seasons of life. They spoke of colors and memories, and Mary noticed the sparkle returning to Mrs. Abernathy's eyes. "You remind me of the dreams I once had," the woman said, her voice trembling with emotion. As the evening wore on, the gathering sparked something deeper within the residents. With every shared laugh and story, with every card they played and song they sang, Mary felt the Spirit of God sweltering in the room. It was as if love itself was reaching out, grabbing hold of each heart present. But amidst the joy, a lingering thought began to stir in her mind. Mary observed how easily hearts opened with kindness, but also how so many souls felt trapped in their memories or regrets. "God," she whispered internally, "what do we do for them tomorrow?" As hands joined in prayer to close the visit, Mary's heart pounded. The invisible connection between them all thrummed like a divine heartbeat. The question remained, echoing within her. What enduring change could their love spark? With that question stirring within her and uncertainty painted across the faces around her, Mary felt the promise of the journey ahead looming ever closer, shrouded in holy mystery. What transformation awaited them just around the corner? The next morning arrived, cloaked in a gentle mist, as if the world were still waking up from a sweet dream. Mary felt an urgency in her heart, a thirst for answers. Yesterday's visit echoed in her mind, the beauty of that fleeting joy, the questions left lingering like echoes in a chapel. She gathered the group at the church again, their faces reflecting enthusiasm and apprehension. "Today," Mary began, her voice steady yet soft, "we returned to the nursing home, but this time with a mission." There was a small gasp among the congregation, eyes wide with curiosity. "We need to understand their stories, to not just listen, but to help them heal." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Mary felt a leap of faith spark within their hearts. It was as if God had lit a fire, urging them towards something greater. As they arrived at the nursing home, the sun broke through the mist, bathing everything in golden light. Mary led the way inside, drawing breath as she prepared to dive deep into their souls. The front desk staff greeted them warmly, but Mary's focus was on what lay ahead, on the wisdom hidden within the aged faces. They entered the common room, a familiar sight now. This time, however, she felt the weight of purpose. "Let's gather around," she called. and the group settled into a circle, a sacred space of honor. "Today, we want to hear you," Mary announced, her heart racing with expectation. "Tell us your stories. Tell us how we can help you. We're here to listen." Silence enveloped the room, but soon an elderly woman named Clara, a figure draped in a knitted shawl, spoke, her voice quivering but clear. "I once knew what it was to be loved deeply. My husband, he was my heart. But now he's gone, and I'm afraid I'm forgotten." Her eyes glimmered with unshed tears. Mary moved closer, the grief in Clara's eyes striking like a chord in her own heart. "You are not forgotten, dear Clara. Your heart and your love linger in the lives of those you touched. We want to remember with you," she replied gently. Clara sighed, a mix of despair and fragile hope mingling in the air. "Will you tell me of your joys? Will you remind me of what life looks like now?" And so they wove stories together, a tapestry of lives intertwined. They spoke of loves lost and hopes cherished, of gardens tended and dreams faded. In this sacred exchange, the characters of forgotten tales bloomed anew. Mary looked around and saw others had shared their secrets too. Laughter joined tears like the mingling of rain and sunshine. One by one, hearts began to unlock, shedding the layers of loneliness. As they shared, something remarkable occurred. In moments of vulnerability, God's Spirit moved, healing the spaces where pain and regret had resided. Mary realized she wasn't just a messenger, she was a vessel of divine transformation. The elderly felt the warmth of renewed connection, and in the midst of their stories, Mary noticed something dynamic happening within herself too. She began to grasp the lesson of encapsulated grace shining brightly through the fragility of life. As they wrapped up the gathering, Mary addressed everyone once more. "We are all chosen to share this journey. Let's pave the path of love together, one story at a time." However, a quiet voice within Mary urged her on. What lay beyond these moments of connection? The divine mystery loomed, wrapping around her heart and igniting a new grapple with faith. What more awaited them? And who could they become together? As the sun set over the village, casting warm hues of orange and gold across the churchyard, Mary felt an exquisite sense of peace. Days had melded into weeks, and the transformation within the community surged like a river flowing toward healing. The elderly embraced visits from the young, and while the laughter of children mingled freely with the wise tales of the aged, Mary held firmly to the knowledge that a powerful bond had formed, a community renewed by love and purpose. But deep within her heart, questions remained. What was the next step? How could this divine movement continue to grow? As she gathered with familiar faces once more, she sensed a divine invitation beckoning them deeper, calling for more than just listening. It was time to act in tangible ways. "Beloved friends," she began, her voice rising among them. "Each story we've held has the power to spark change, a change grounded in action, seeded through love. Today, I challenge us all to create a legacy of compassion." The room hummed with anticipation, eyes wide with curiosity and desire. Mary's heart raced with urgency. Let's embark on a journey beyond our little village. We can create outreach programs. We can help those in need. Families burdened by hardships, children who need mentorship, individuals grappling with loneliness. And it starts with us, right here, right now. A burst of energy surged through the gathering. Inspired by Mary's passion, hands shot up eager to volunteer. Laughter and shouts of "yes" erupted as a young man suggested they host a community-wide harvest festival to gather resources and funds, while another proposed forming a mentorship program for local youth, teaching them the crafts and skills passed down through generations. Mary watched, heart swelling with pride. Miracle after miracle had unfolded, and now, the village was not just witnessing these transformations. They were awakening to their own potential to bring light to darkness. Yet, just as excitement flared, shadows of doubt encroached. An icy voice pierced through the warmth. But who will truly care? Who will step up in the face of adversity? It was the same skeptic, eyes narrowed with disbelief. A hush fell over the crowd. Self-doubt crept back in. "Enough!" Mary shouted, her voice firm but full of grace. "We are a testament of faith in action. Will we let doubt extinguish the flames of kindness? We've tasted the fruits of love, and that is what drives us." The silence thickened, but the electric charge in the room encouraged them. As energy sparked amongst renewed hearts, Mary took a step into the center, eyes ablaze with divine fire. "Let us commit today, not just in words but through our hands and feet, lifting up those in need. Our faith is a call to action." Encouragement flowed like a wave, and soon the entire gathering erupted with cheers. Ideas blossomed from everyone's lips, and plans formed naturally, knitting them together as a united community. They embraced challenges with open hearts, ready to weather any storm that threatened their faith. As evening wore into the night, Mary took a deep breath, feeling vibrations of hope wrap around her like a warm embrace. She closed her eyes under the starlit sky, entrusting their visions to God. "What more awaits us?" she whispered. In that moment, peace flooded her heart. The what-ifs faded as she surrendered wholly to a promise of divine orchestration. Days turned to weeks, and soon, a spirit of revival reclaimed the village. The Harvest Festival brought everyone together, the weary and the joyful alike united in a great celebration of community. Tables laden with food spread across the fields. Laughter echoed through the air as neighbors offered their crafts, and stories held the village in a tight embrace. The elderly filled the stands, sharing tales of yesteryears while children ran freely, weaving in and out of joyous interactions. Mary stepped back, feeling blessed to witness the miracle of true collective love, a gospel manifested in flesh and spirit. And at the center of the festivities, Mary caught sight of Mrs. Abernathy smiling as she handed a pie to a neighbor. "It seems we're never too old to create new memories," she chuckled, her laughter ringing like bells. Blessed were their days, filled with gratitude as they honored the journey thus far. Yet, as evening descended, a final thought settled quietly in Mary's heart. They had woven stories into bonds, but what awaited them tomorrow? What challenges lay ahead when the festival lights dimmed and the dawn broke anew? She felt the edge of a beginning, a whisper in her spirit hinting that this journey was not without its trials, yet it was one they would face together. One question lingered on the breeze, wrapped in a gentle challenge. What greater miracles lie in the hours ahead? It danced through the congregation, igniting that familiar feeling that anything was possible when faith took hold. Suddenly, laughter rose, voices intertwining like the bright stars above. The crowd echoed its promise. They were harnessed together in spirit, ready for whatever journey awaited them. Movement was stirring, a forward motion that carried their faith into tomorrow, hand in hand. In that moment of collective harmony, Mary realized that this journey was not about her or any individual. It was about the divine call that pulsed through each heart, urging them onward, together, transformed into vessels of hope. With faith igniting from deep within, she looked ahead brightly, stepping boldly into what lay next, her heart aligned with the divine purpose woven through their stories. And so Mary closed her eyes, inhaling the promise that God was always with them, aligning their every step with love. "Let's continue to rise together," she proclaimed into the night air, the faith around her a living testament to the truth that their journey was just beginning. Now is the time for you to join this movement of love and inspiration. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that could change lives. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread this message of hope. Comment your reactions and testimonies about the ending. It encourages our community to keep sharing their stories. And please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of divine love. Remember, only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Don't wait even one more second to be a part of this blessed journey.